The story begins in a town called Bighorn Ridge, Montana. An elderly woman named Ellen Cole goes to a pharmacy to buy medicine for her illness. After that, she stops at a small store and buys a few boxes of beer. At the same time, the town sheriff Winston catches a young woman named Abigail. She had stolen a few chocolate bars and some packs of beef jerky from the same store. A few days earlier, Abigail's father had died after drowning while he was drunk. Now she has no family left. She plans to leave the town forever. She has no money and nowhere to go. She only stole the food because she needed something to eat during her journey. Instead of arresting her, Winston feels sorry for her. He gives her a warning and lets her go. Then he tells his deputy, Henry, to drive Abigail to the edge of town. During the ride, Henry tries to talk to her, but Abigail stays quiet and does not share anything. Finally, he drops her off near a gas station and leaves. Inside the gas station, two men named Kyle and Dwayne notice Abigail asking people for a ride. They walk over and offer to take her with them. Abigail refuses because she does not trust them. The two men keep insisting and she becomes very scared. Nearby, Ellen is watching everything. She quickly steps between them and tells Abigail to get into her car. Abigail accepts her help, but Kyle and Dwayne try to stop them. Ellen suddenly fights both men and knocks them to the ground with ease. Abigail is shocked to see an old woman defeat them so easily. She thanks Ellen for saving her. While driving home, Ellen learns that Abigail is trying to reach Mexico. Abigail says she has always dreamed of seeing Machu Picchu. Ellen gently corrects her and explains that Machu Picchu is actually in Peru, not Mexico. Instead of dropping Abigail off on the highway, Ellen takes her home. Her house is located near a large construction site. Ellen feels sorry for the young girl. She tells Abigail that she should eat a good meal and get some proper rest before continuing her trip. Abigail hesitates at first, but she finally agrees to stay. That night after dinner, the two women begin sharing their stories. Ellen explains that after her husband passed away, Abigail's father often helped her around the house whenever she needed it. Abigail then talks about her own father. She says he started drinking heavily after Duke built a dam in the area. Her father loved the river very much. When the construction began, he felt like everything he cared about had been destroyed. His sadness became too much for him. One day, he went to the dam and drowned there. That is why Abigail became tired of the town. She wanted to leave everything behind and travel the world. Ellen quietly tells her that traveling is important, but every person also needs a home to return to. She reminds Abigail that having a place to belong is one of the most important things in life. Then Ellen jokes that the two of them are both orphans now. They laugh together, and for a short moment, all their sadness disappears. The next morning, a wealthy businessman named Duke arrives at Ellen's house in a limousine. He is accompanied by one of his men, Clay. As soon as they arrive, Duke starts pressuring Ellen to sell her house. He tells her that her land is the perfect location for his new resort project. Duke then offers Ellen a huge amount of money for her property. He also tells her that she can choose any house she wants from his real estate projects. On top of that, he promises her a lifetime VIP membership. Ellen quietly refuses every offer. Duke keeps trying to convince her, but Ellen makes it clear that as long as she is alive, she will never sell her home at any price. Angry and frustrated, Duke walks back to his limousine. After getting inside, he orders Clay to remove Ellen from her house by any means necessary. He tells him to do whatever it takes. Later that night, Ellen secretly puts some useful supplies into Abigail's bag for her journey. She also gives her a knife so she can protect herself. Before Abigail leaves, Ellen tells her to stay alert and take good care of herself during her trip. Abigail feels deeply touched by her kindness and thanks her. However, later that same night, Kyle and Dwayne, who both work for Duke, secretly break into Ellen's house. Their plan is to kill Ellen and make it look like a tragic accident. Dwayne quietly starts walking up the stairs. Ellen hears his footsteps and wakes up. She quietly sneaks behind him, grabs him, and attacks him without warning. Even at her old age, Ellen beats him down. She then hits him with her oxygen tank and knocks him unconscious. At the same time, Abigail hears the noise and wakes up. As she walks through the house, she suddenly runs into Kyle. He immediately starts chasing her through the rooms. While trying to escape, Abigail accidentally grabs a gun. In panic, she shoots Kyle in the shoulder. Kyle is badly injured and quickly runs out of the house. Abigail is completely shocked because she has just shot a man. She stands there frozen with fear. Ellen comes over and tries to calm her down. She tells Abigail not to say anything because she will take all the blame herself. After escaping, Kyle immediately reports everything to Clay. Clay becomes very disappointed because Kyle and Dwayne could not even handle one old woman. The next morning, the police arrive at Ellen's house and arrest her. They completely ignore the fact that intruders had broken into her home. Sheriff Winston brings up the earlier fight that happened at the gas station. While searching the property, the officers find several marijuana plants. Ellen explains that the plants are only for her personal use. Winston tells her that having more than 4 plants is illegal in Montana. He says she could even face charges for distributing drugs. Ellen again tells them that people had broken into her house during the night. Even after hearing her story, Winston ignores it and arrests her instead. Henry feels that something about the whole situation is wrong. Even so, he follows Winston's orders and takes Ellen into custody. After Ellen is taken away, Abigail is left alone in the house. A little later, while exploring the basement, she discovers a hidden room. Inside, she finds many guns, several passports with different identities, Ellen's military uniforms, and many old photographs hanging on the walls. Abigail begins to realize that Ellen was probably once a highly skilled soldier whom many people feared. At the police station, one of the officers notices a tiger tattoo on Ellen's body. He respects her bravery and even shows her his own Taylor Swift tattoo before starting a friendly conversation with her. Nearby, Dwayne threatens Ellen and tells her that her house will soon be destroyed. Ellen simply laughs at him and makes fun of his injured nose. After some time, Dwayne is released from jail, while Ellen is still being held inside the cell. Before the scene ends, Ellen tells Sheriff Winston that someone needs to protect her house while she is locked up. Ellen tells Sheriff Winston that Duke is behind everything that has happened. Winston does not pay any attention to her. Ellen then accuses him of working for Duke. She asks him one last time if he is going to help her or not. Winston calmly replies that he will not help her. A short time later, Kyle and Dwayne drive away with cans of gasoline. It becomes clear that they are planning to burn Ellen's house to the ground. Back at the police station, Henry becomes worried because Ellen has a serious breathing problem. He takes her oxygen tank to her jail cell. When he arrives, he finds Ellen lying on the floor. As soon as Henry steps inside to help her, Ellen tricks him. She grabs his gun, locks him inside the cell, and walks out. While heading toward the exit, Ellen quickly grabs another officer and takes control of the situation. A second officer tries to stop her with a taser. Ellen turns the weapon against both officers and knocks them to the ground. After escaping from the police station, Ellen quickly returns home. As soon as she arrives, she gives Abigail the keys to a truck. She tells her to leave before the police get there. Ellen insists that it is the safest choice. Abigail refuses to leave her alone. A few moments later, the police surround the house. Ellen calmly waits for them outside. Sheriff Winston points his gun at her and tells her to surrender. Ellen easily throws him to the ground. The other officers are shocked when they see it happen. Feeling embarrassed, Winston orders his men to bring larger weapons. At the same time, Henry tries to calm him down. He warns Winston not to make the situation worse. He reminds him that Abigail is still inside the house. He does not want her to get caught in the middle of a fight. Soon after that, Henry enters the house without carrying a gun. He tries to convince Abigail to come outside with him. Abigail refuses because she is afraid the police will hurt Ellen after she leaves. Henry promises her that they would never harm an old woman. During their conversation, Abigail shows Henry the things she found in the hidden room. She says that she always believed her father had gone crazy, but now she is sure that he was telling the truth. She shows Henry a map that connects several nearby homes where strange incidents had happened. She explains that one house suddenly burned down, but the police never seriously investigated it. Another family lost all of their sheep to a rare disease that almost never appears in that area. After losing everything, the owner of that house took his own life. At first, Henry believes these events are only strange coincidences, but the more Abigail explains, the more he begins to believe that something is seriously wrong. Abigail says she always thought Henry was the first officer to see her father's body at the dam after he drowned. Henry explains that he was only the first officer to arrive at the scene. The people who actually found the body were Duke's own men. At that moment, both Henry and Abigail begin to suspect that Duke's men may have murdered Abigail's father. A little later, Clay arrives with several armed men. He already knows that Abigail is still inside the house. Sheriff Winston asks him for a little more time so he can bring her out safely. Clay gives him only 3 minutes. Winston contacts Henry over the radio and tells him that he has just 3 minutes to get Abigail out of the house. Henry refuses and asks why Duke's men are even there. A few moments later, Winston reluctantly gives Clay the signal to move forward. Henry still believes that something terrible has happened. He also wants to believe that Winston is still a good man, but Abigail is completely convinced that Winston is part of everything. She believes he is the one who abandoned them and left them there to die. At the same time, without any warning, Ellen knocks Henry unconscious. She believes he would only become a weakness during the fight. Ellen and Abigail drag him into the hidden room beneath the basement. They tie him up there so he stays away from the gunfire. After that, Ellen locks both Abigail and Henry inside the room because she wants to keep them safe. Outside, more of Clay's men arrive. These are not ordinary criminals. They are highly trained and dangerous killers. As they get ready to attack, Ellen begins setting traps all around her house. Meanwhile, the police run a background check on Ellen. They only discover that she came to Bighorn Ridge in 1999. They cannot find any records from before that. Then they send a photo of her tiger tattoo to the FBI. That is when the truth is revealed. Ellen is actually from Russia. She was once a KGB agent known by the name Sword and Shield. This means she is not just a skilled fighter. In her past, she was trained to kill as part of her job. A little later, the armed men quietly move toward the back of the house. Dwayne finds several target dummies used for shooting practice. Every single bullet has hit the exact center of the target. After After seeing this, he realizes that Ellen is far more dangerous than they expected. Fear starts to take over. The group comes up with a plan to crash a vehicle straight into the house. Before they can get close, Ellen shoots the tires and stops the vehicle. At the back of the house, one by one, the attackers begin falling into the traps she has prepared. Terrified, Dwayne runs away and leaves the others behind. Outside, complete chaos breaks out as Clay and his men start firing at the house from every direction. Inside, Ellen hides and waits for the right moment. As Kyle opens the front door, he triggers another trap. A powerful explosion goes off and throws the attackers backward. Even after that, a few of the killers manage to enter the house. Ellen silently moves through the darkness and begins hunting them one at a time. At the same time, Abigail comes out through the basement door and tries to escape from the hidden room. One of the killers hears the noise and starts opening the basement door. At that very moment, Ellen takes down the attackers one after another. She picks up their weapons and uses them against them. Her aim is incredibly accurate. She only needs one bullet to kill each target. Down in the basement, Abigail unties Henry and sets him free. Just then, one of the killers rushes inside and opens fire. Henry fights back, but the attacker overpowers him. Abigail quickly grabs a baseball bat and hits the killer, knocking him to the ground. In another part of the house, after fighting for so long, Ellen begins having trouble breathing. She reaches for her oxygen tank. Clay notices her and immediately opens fire. Ellen quickly moves into cover, but she is still hit by a bullet. She fires back, but Clay uses a dead body as a shield while moving closer to her. When Ellen finally runs out of bullets, Clay walks up to her. He tells her that she may have been a deadly machine in her younger days, but now she cannot defeat him. He throws her around the room and prepares to shoot her. Just before pulling the trigger, he asks if she has any final wish. Ellen calmly tells him that if he wants to kill her, he should aim for her head. As Clay turns for a moment, Henry suddenly points his gun directly at him. A short time later, Ellen, Abigail, and Henry tie Clay up and begin questioning him. They ask him why Duke wants to kill Ellen now when her property will legally become his in less than a year. Clay finally tells them the truth. He says Duke is involved in business with some very dangerous people. Duke owes them a huge amount of money. If he does not finish building the resort before next year, those people will kill him. That is why he is desperate to force Ellen out of her home as quickly as possible. At the same time, Ellen's breathing problem becomes worse, and she needs her medicine. While Abigail is trying to help her, she accidentally drops a wine opener from the table. Clay secretly picks it up and hides it in his hand without anyone noticing. When Abigail takes Ellen into another room to help her, Clay starts mocking Henry. He reminds him that Winston left him there to die. Henry becomes angry and steps closer to him. Clay suddenly uses the small tool to break free and quickly takes Henry hostage. When Abigail and Ellen rush back into the room, they discover that Clay has already started a fire inside the house. He is holding Henry as a hostage. As Clay runs outside, Ellen fires several shots at him, but he escapes. Outside, Clay's men surround the house and begin shooting from every direction. They want to make sure that no one can escape alive. The fire quickly spreads through the house. Ellen, Abigail, and Henry run back into the secret room beneath the basement. They collect a few guns and other supplies. Then they escape through a hidden tunnel. Outside, Clay and his men watch the house burn. They believe everyone is trapped inside. They have no idea that Ellen, Abigail, and Henry escaped before the house was completely destroyed. From a distance, Ellen watches her home burn to the ground. She feels heartbroken because it was the home she loved more than anything. By the next morning, Clay's men search through the burned ruins looking for their bodies. Meanwhile, Ellen, Abigail, and Henry travel deep into the forest. They reach a place where Ellen had hidden a truck. The three of them get inside and drive away. During the journey, Ellen finally opens up about her past. She says she never had a real home when she was young. As a little girl, the KGB took her from the streets and trained her to become a killer. Later, she met her husband. Together they built a happy life and finally had a real home. Now that home is gone, and her heart is completely broken. Ellen knows they need solid evidence if they want Duke to be arrested. Abigail suddenly remembers that her father seemed to be searching for something before he died. She believes he may have actually found it. The three of them drive to her father's old trailer and begin searching through it. There they find documents connected to Duke's real estate project. They also discover evidence linked to the other houses and signs that someone had tried to destroy those records. At the same time, Duke receives a call from the dangerous Russian men he owes money to. They tell him that he must come in person to sign the deal. Out in the forest, Abigail becomes deeply emotional after learning the truth. She realizes that she spent the last few years hating her father. She believed he was only a drunk man. She also abandoned him and thought he was a bad person just like everyone else did. But now she knows he was telling the truth all along. He was never crazy. Duke had him drowned and murdered. After learning everything, both Abigail and Ellen decide that Duke must pay for everything he has done. Around the same time, Henry goes to meet Sheriff Winston. He tells him that the state police are already on their way to arrest him. That night, Duke learns that Ellen is still alive. A short time later, the lights inside Duke's house suddenly go out. One by one, his guards begin to die. Moving silently through the darkness like a ghost, Ellen attacks them one after another and takes them down without making a sound. Meanwhile, Dwayne hides Duke inside inside a closet and gives him a gun for protection. Then he stands outside the closet, ready to face whoever is coming. Even though he is terrified, he decides to fight. At the same time, Abigail goes to the dam and secretly plants several bombs. While she is setting them up, Kyle suddenly finds her. He tells Abigail that he is the man who killed her father. Right after that, he attacks her and starts beating her. As he fights, he keeps talking to her, but Abigail quietly pulls out the knife that Ellen gave her earlier. She stabs Kyle in the stomach several times and leaves him there to die. Back at Duke's house, all of the guards have already been killed. Someone slowly walks toward the closet where Duke is hiding. Duke panics and starts firing his gun without even looking. A moment later, Ellen calmly opens the closet door and points her gun at him. Duke believes she has come to kill him, but Ellen tells him that she is not there for him. She says she came for Clay. As soon as Clay arrives, Ellen tells him that this fight is personal because he burned down her home. She immediately shoots him in the hand, causing him to drop his gun. Clay then challenges her to fight him like a real man. Ellen accepts the challenge. At first, Clay has the upper hand and begins overpowering her. During the fight, Ellen manages to strike him and takes out one of his eyes. Clay then tries to stab her with a knife. Ellen quickly turns the weapon against him and kills him with it. After that, Ellen takes Duke into the forest. She gives Abigail a signal. Abigail immediately detonates the bombs. The entire dam is destroyed in a massive explosion. Duke becomes furious and starts shouting insults at Ellen. Just then, the Russian men that Duke owes money to arrive to complete their deal. As soon as they see Ellen, they recognize her and treat her with great respect. Ellen speaks to them in Russian. Duke smiles because he believes those men are about to kill her. But he is completely wrong. Instead, Ellen allows the Russian men to take Duke away with them. She already knows what his fate will be. Sometime later, Abigail reads a newspaper. The report says that Duke has been missing for several months. Henry has now become the new sheriff of the town. He visits Ellen and brings her medicine. Before leaving, Henry and Abigail happily say goodbye to each other. In the end, Ellen and Abigail prepare to leave the town together. They take Abigail's father's trailer and finally begin the journey they had always talked about. Their destination is Machu Picchu. And with that, the story comes to an end. If you liked this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel to see more such videos. Thanks for watching.